Okay, believe it or not, this is a gaming mouse. Let me explain. This is a 3D model called the Sub Optimum. It's basically just a 3D printed frame that you combine with the internals of a Razer Death Adder mouse. And if you couldn't tell by the name, this is obviously heavily inspired by the Zero mouse made by Optimum. If you've never heard or seen the Zero mouse before, highly recommend checking it out because it's actually such an insane project. I haven't had the chance to get my hands on one yet or use a mouse like this in general, but since the Sub Optimum is around, I figured I'd print it out and see what mice like these are actually all about. Let me tell you, this is so cool to use. So just like the Zero mouse, this comes in at just 22 grams, which is already insane in itself, but it actually feels insanely natural to use, especially when you start to introduce things like skates or using it on performance mouse pads. The glide feels insanely smooth. It's also just a lot more comfortable than I thought it would be. And with 3D printing, you get this extra layer of customization. So I wanted it to match my keyboard, so I printed it out with this color scheme. Now, unlike the Zero mouse, this is actually printed in PLA instead of resin. And even though it's the same weight as the Zero mouse, you lose the ability to have a scroll wheel because you actually have to solder it off. But regardless, it's still a really cool project to mess around with. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I'll try to get my hands on the Zero mouse to do some comparisons with the Sub Optimum. So if you want, follow to stay tuned for that.